Welcome back to Prime Style 50 Plus. Let's talk about the most powerful weapon in your style arsenal that you are probably misfiring: your fragrance. You see, a man's scent is his invisible signature. It is the ghost that lingers in the room long after you have walked out, and it tells a story about who you are before you even open your mouth. But here is the problem. As we cross into our 50s, many of us are still smelling like a high school locker room. We are either clinging to those synthetic sugar bomb scents of our youth, which, let's be honest, is the olfactory equivalent of trying to squeeze into your skinny jeans from 1995, or we have given up entirely and decided that the smell of unscented soap is good enough. It is not. At this stage of the game, your fragrance should not be a loud cry for attention. It should be a quiet command for respect. It should not be a chemical cloud that pushes people away. It should be a gravitational pull that draws them in. Style in your second half is about moving away from smelling nice and moving toward smelling significant. It is about finding a scent that has the same weight, depth, and character as the life you have lived. Today, we are stripping away the marketing fluff. We are breaking down the essential pillars of the mature fragrance, from the notes of authority to the art of the subtle application. If you are ready to ensure your presence is felt and remembered for the right reasons, let's get into it. The biggest mistake men over 50 make isn't choosing a bad scent, it's choosing a juvenile one. Many of us fall into the fresh trap. You walk into a department store, and the salesperson hands you a bottle that's bright blue, smells like a synthetic ocean breeze, and has enough citrus to power a lemonade stand. They call it sporty. I call it a missed opportunity. These scents are designed for 20-year-olds who spend their weekends in crowded clubs. They are loud, sweet, and aggressive. For a man in his second half, wearing a sugar bomb fragrance is the olfactory equivalent of showing up to a board meeting in neon-colored sneakers and a baseball cap worn backward. It doesn't make you look younger. It makes you look like you're having an identity crisis. Here is why you need to move on. The chemistry of experience. By 50, your skin's natural oils and temperature have shifted. Those light, airy scents that used to last all day on your younger skin now evaporate in minutes, or worse, they turn sour. You need a fragrance with structural integrity, something that can hold its own against the weight of your presence. The power of subtlety. Youthful scents are designed to shout across a room to get noticed. A mature scent should be a whisper of authority that only becomes audible when someone enters your personal space. If your cologne enters the room 5 minutes before you do, you aren't projecting power, you're projecting a lack of boundaries. The candy versus character comparison. Think of it like a drink. A 20-year-old wants a neon-colored energy drink full of sugar and caffeine. You want a peated scotch or a well-aged espresso. One is about a temporary rush. The other is about a lingering depth. Your goal in part 1 is to audit your cabinet. If it smells like something you could find in a candy aisle or a gym locker room, it's time to retire it. To build a silhouette of strength, you have to stop smelling like a snack and start smelling like a legacy. We are moving away from fragrance as a trend and toward fragrance as architecture. So, if we're throwing away the candy store bottles, what are we replacing them with? We're looking for architecture. In the world of mature fragrance, there are 3 primary groups that project power, reliability, and that lived-in wisdom. I call them the notes of authority. First, we have the woods. Think of these as the structural beams of your house: cedar, sandalwood, or vetiver. These aren't just smells, they are textures. Wood notes are dry, sturdy, and grounding. When you wear a high-quality woody scent, you aren't just smelling nice, you're projecting the same stability as a mahogany desk in a corner office. It tells people that you are a man who has roots. You aren't blowing away with the next trend. Next, we add the heat. These are the spices and resins. I'm talking about cardamom, black pepper, and amber. These notes provide the glow. While the wood is the structure, the spice is the fireplace. It adds a layer of warmth and mystery. It's the difference between a cold clinical room and a high-end lounge where the air feels heavy with experience. At 50, you want a scent that invites people to lean in. Not because they're curious about a trend, but because they're intrigued by your depth. Finally, we have the heritage notes. This is the leather and tobacco. Now, I'm not talking about smelling like a stale ashtray. I'm talking about the scent of a vintage car interior or a library full of first edition books. Leather notes project an unapologetic masculinity. It says you've been places, you've done things, and you've got the stories to prove it. It is a scent that demands a certain level of respect because it feels earned, not bought. The key here is composition. You're looking for a fragrance that balances these three elements. You want the sturdiness of the wood, the warmth of the spice, and the heritage of the leather. This isn't a fragrance anymore. It's a statement of intent. You are no longer dressing to be liked by the crowd. You are dressing to be remembered by the right people. Now, we have to talk about the delivery. Because you can own the most authoritative fragrance in the world, but if you apply it like a teenager, you've just turned a masterpiece into a chemical hazard. In your 20s, you probably wanted to announce your arrival 3 blocks away. But at 50, that kind of nuclear application is a loud signal of insecurity. It's the olfactory equivalent of shouting in a quiet library. To maintain your authority, you must master the handshake rule. Think of your fragrance as a reward for those who get close to you, not a warning for those across the room. It is an invisible boundary. It should only become audible when someone enters your personal space for a handshake or a conversation. Here is how you execute the blueprint. Target the heat points, the base of the neck, and the insides of your wrists. Your body heat acts like a slow-release engine, pushing the scent out in subtle, rhythmic waves throughout the entire day. And please, stop the overspraying. For a high-quality, mature fragrance, 2 sprays are the sweet spot, 1 for the neck and 1 for the wrists. If the scent is particularly heavy, even 1 might be enough. You want people to wonder what you're wearing, not why you're wearing so much of it. Whatever you do, do not spray and walk through the cloud. It's a waste of money and a waste of architecture. Apply directly to the skin, let it settle, and, this is crucial, never rub your wrists together. Rubbing creates friction that bruises the delicate top notes, killing the complexity before it even has a chance to breathe. A man of experience knows that true power doesn't need to shout to be felt. By applying your scent with restraint, you aren't just smelling good, you are projecting total control. You are inviting the world to lean in. Stay sharp, stay subtle, and let your presence do the heavy lifting. Now, let's talk about the seasonal shift. Just as you wouldn't wear a heavy wool overcoat in the middle of July, you cannot wear the same scent year-round. Your fragrance is your seasonal armor, and the temperature dictates exactly how that armor performs. In the heat of the summer, everything is amplified. The humidity acts like a magnifying glass for scent molecules. If you're wearing those heavy, syrupy ouds or sweet leathers in 90-degree weather, you aren't projecting authority, you're projecting a lack of awareness. You become cloying. You become the man people want to step away from. For the warmer months, you want transparency. Look for crisp citrus, neroli, or vetiver. But remember our rule, it must have a woody base. You want to smell like a coastal villa, not a box of lemon detergent. But when the temperature drops, the rules of engagement change. The cold air is thin and sharp. It kills the projection of those light, citrusy scents. This is the time to bring out the heavy artillery. Winter is the season for depth. This is when the ambers, the dark tobaccos, and the smoky incenses truly come alive. These notes need the cold to remain sophisticated. They need the crisp air to keep their richness from becoming overwhelming. In the winter, your scent should be like a warm leather chair by a fireplace, a solid, comforting presence in a cold world. The transition seasons, spring and fall, are your opportunity for complexity. This is where you play with florals like iris or spices like cardamom. It shows a level of intentionality that the average man simply doesn't possess. A man of experience understands that his environment is part of his strategy. You are not just wearing a smell. You are curating an atmosphere that fits the moment. Adjust your armor, master the climate, and never let the weather dictate your presence. Finally, we reach the soul of the matter, the signature mindset. You see, finding your scent isn't about following a trend or buying the most expensive bottle on the shelf. It is about consistency. A man of authority doesn't change his identity every week. When you find that one fragrance that truly aligns with your character, stay with it. Let it become part of your legend. You want your family, your colleagues, and your peers to associate that specific aroma with you. It should be the scent they catch in the air and think, "He's here," or even better, "He was here." Because in the second half of life, we aren't just living for the moment, we are building a legacy. Every choice you make, from the structure of your blazer to the weight of your scent, is a brick in that foundation. You are no longer asking for permission to be noticed. You are commanding the space you occupy. Style is an act of intentionality, and intentionality is the ultimate form of power. If you're ready to refine your presence and master your second half, then you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button and join our community of men who lead with substance. I want to hear from you. What is the one fragrance that has defined your journey so far? Drop a comment below. I read every single one, and your stories help shape this channel. Stay sharp, stay authoritative, and I'll see you in the next video.